The European Union broke years of political deadlock by agreeing on a deal that will significantly change how the bloc limits migrant entry, moves migrants around EU countries, and effectively makes it easier to deport unsuccessful asylum seeker applicants. The deal comes just 6 months before the EU election, with polls showing a surge in support for far-right, anti-immigration parties in countries like Germany and the Netherlands. You know what's an easy prediction for 2024? We'll be talking a lot about migration. After a pandemic-era lull, the issue has roared back to the forefront as Western leaders face pressure from the right to adopt ever stricter measures. Now, European Union leaders and top officials hailed a major breakthrough in talks on new rules to control migration, but critics say the reforms will weaken the rights of asylum seekers and encourage more morally dubious deals with countries that people leave to get to Europe. But representatives of the European Parliament and of EU governments reached an accord after all-night talks on EU laws collectively called the New Pact on Migration and Asylum that should start taking effect next year. But the new laws cover screening irregular migrants when they arrive in the European Union, procedures for handling asylum applications, rules on determining which EU country is responsible for handling applications, and ways to handle crisis. European countries now seem focused on keeping others out, and it's no surprise. European countries have struggled for years to find common ground on migration policy, but the increase in arrivals over the past year has fed the politicization of migration policy and also elevated the importance of the issue in capitals. Now, this deal, which still must be formally ratified, aims among its objectives to share the costs associated with the new arrivals more evenly among member states, to stem new arrivals, and to make it possible to deport migrants more quickly. Now, while human rights groups are condemning the new measures, saying they undermine critical protections for asylum seekers and will put newcomers at greater risk, top European officials touted the agreement as a win for Europe and those trying desperately and often dangerously to reach its shores. By the way, the French Parliament adopted a divisive bill that places tough rules on immigrants, such as making it harder for them to obtain benefits or for their children to become French citizens. Emmanuel Macron's centrist party agreed to tougher measures to win support from the French right. Migration is also dominating the political agenda in Germany, where local governments are feeling the strain of caring for large numbers of newcomers. In fact, the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, has vowed to take a tougher line, facing growing pressure from the right. The Italian Interior Minister also called the pact a great success for Europe and Italy, and meant that EU border countries most exposed to migration would no longer feel alone. But anti-migrant sentiment has propelled the far right to victories in bastions of social liberalism, including the Netherlands, and shaped debate from Germany to Italy and Britain. But in 2024, it is clear that it will be a driving force in elections in Europe and in the United States as well.